do any tests, or it was just
she just palpated the breast, physical exam. She said, I definitely feel a lump there, and we're going to refer you for a mammogram and that. So went in and did in radiology here, and did the mammogram, ultrasound, biopsy that day. Next Tuesday I think I had the MRI, and then Thursday I got my diagnosis.
Okay.
So it's very quick.
Yeah. And when you first came here, you met with breast care nurses? Or?
Breast care nurse was either Denise or Hazel, and Dr. Salmon as well. Miss Salmon, Maureen Salmon, who is a surgeon. So she's the first person I met, and I've seen her quite a few times since then as well.
And all these things that you needed to do, like all this imaging, did they explain why they were doing this and what was the next step? And
yeah, so they explained that the mammogram was just to generally check for anomalies and take pictures, and they had to do it in certain ways, and then the ultrasound was to get another picture, and then because there was, initially first she felt that lump. She felt some other things that she wanted to check out as well, so I had biopsies on both sides.
Okay.
And so it was the breast and the axilla as well, and she explained that she wanted to check each thing that she had, each spot that she had felt, and she wanted to double check the lymph nodes as well, so that she would get a picture of whether if there was anything there, if it had caused the lymph nodes to swell as well. So she explained then that she wanted to get a fuller picture than what could be shown in the ultrasound and the mammogram, and that's why she wanted it, because my tissue was quite dense, I think, because of my age. So that's why she wanted me to go for the MRI as well.
Okay.
It's ancient history, but I think that's right. Yeah.
And at that point, did you search online, or did they give you a sort of idea, or did you have any feeling that this might be more serious than?
So, they were everyone was quite reassuring in that they were very positive, but they weren't telling me, oh, it's probably nothing, which that's fine. When the Thursday, the day of the checks, we had made an appointment for the following week, and she said, and bring your boyfriend. And I was like, oh, do I need to? She's like, oh, why wouldn't you have your boyfriend? And she said it very casually, but I knew at that stage that there might be some news that I needed somebody with me to hear. So I think I knew myself that there was something, that it wasn't just, something benign that I needed to worry about. So it wasn't the case where things that somebody had said had caused me to worry. It was all very professional and non-committal. So I had, and it was just 1 week. It wasn't like 3 weeks of worrying or whatever. There was 1 week where it could have been anything from nothing at all to really, really bad. And the fact that it was just 1 week later, everything condensed down to it's not super, but it's not bad. So it was just 1 week of worry, but everyone I think has that, and that worry of it could be nothing at all, or you could be dead in 2 weeks, and you don't know. For me, that was one of the scariest things, because I didn't know what to feel, and I didn't know what was going to happen. And of course, the doctors can't say, oh, it's probably nothing, especially in my case, because I had quite a large tumour on my breast. That was pretty obvious to anyone who touched it. They can't tell me it's probably nothing, because it probably is something. So having the time, and I know diagnosis takes time, but I also know that here in this private hospital, it was much, much quicker than it may have been publicly. But that time from when you feel a lump or something shows up on a scan to when you get your diagnosis needs to be as short as possible, because that's a really, really, really scary time.
Yeah, and when did you do the biopsy? You mentioned that you had, in the first day, you did this imaging, and then you came again on...
The biopsy was on the same day.
Oh, okay.
So we did the mammogram, did the ultrasound, and that at the same time of the ultrasound, or just I didn't even leave the room. They were like, oh, we're doing the biopsy as well.
Okay.
So
and they took for both
both
breasts?
Both breasts and the axilla as well.
Okay. And then you came on a Tuesday?
I think it was the Tuesday for
an MRI.
For an MRI, yeah.
Okay. And then on Thursday
I came back and it was
with the results?
in the evening. So they had their multidisciplinary meeting Thursday afternoon.
Yes.
And then after that, she came back and it was like 7 in the evening or something like that. But she still, took the time to meet us and explain things with us. So we had she talked through. She had her diagrams of the breast. So this is nothing. This is a few cells. This is the DCIS, and this is, the invasive ductal carcinoma, which is what I have. Had and explained how that what that meant and the grade of the tumor, and how whether it had spread to your lymph nodes might have an effect on your treatment and things, and how fast the tumor was growing, and that they didn't have all the data about how it responded to hormones yet, that might take some time, but they wanted to give me this part of the diagnosis straight away.
And during this time, had you told other people that you were coming here?
Yeah.
Before they diagnosed you with breast cancer?
Yeah, I'm a person who tells people things. So my boyfriend knew, my best friends, like 3 or 4 of those knew, my parents knew, my colleagues. I told my boss, I think, just before I got the diagnosis, after I'd been in for the biopsies. But I had told my two of my colleagues, like when I found the lump, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to the doctor on Friday because I found a lump. And so they knew. So it wasn't something that I was holding in. Because when you're worried about something, for me anyway, telling other people is good. Sometimes they get more worried, but just to be able to say something and not have it all bottled up for me is good. Not for everyone, but for me.
Yeah, I mean everyone is different. Yeah. And you mentioned that they gave some information, but did you search information online? Especially nowadays, everything is Dr. Google.
I tried not to. It's really hard. It's right there. It's so initially, and they had said, don't Google, and I completely understand that because, the website, it isn't a doctor. It hasn't examined you. Yeah. It doesn't know. Whereas the doctor that's examined you has more of an idea in general. And I know when I finally got to see Dr. Western, she said, look, try and stay off Google, but here are some websites that I trust and that I'm happy enough for you to look at. So Macmillan, for example, which is UK cancer information, and they have a good portal there and they have forums. And so she was happy for me to go somewhere like that, but not necessarily to some, you should drink apple cider vinegar, it'll cure your cancer. Yeah. And because there are a lot of websites out there like that, and chemo is horrible, so people hate it and don't want to do it and think it's really, really bad. And there are lots of websites that say, chemo is basically mustard gas and you're poisoning yourself and so I'm sure she didn't want
I haven't read those kind of things because I usually know what kind of information is stressful enough.
And I would be quite pro-science myself, but other people may not trust doctors as much, and they may want a more holistic approach, and in that case, and especially if it's do this instead of, if you're having apple cider vinegar and chemotherapy, that's probably fine. But if you're having apple cider vinegar instead of chemotherapy, that's where the problems are. So there's a lot of, and I think, and as well as that for worry, I mean, you look at something and you're like, oh, okay, this could be really bad. And because they didn't say to me, oh, you have stage 1 cancer, or you have stage 2 cancer. They didn't use the stage, which you kind of understand. Stage 4 is freaking bad, and stage 1, you're probably going to be fine. My boyfriend says they did, and I don't remember. He said she did say stage 1, but I'm kind of between stage 1 and stage 2 because my lymph nodes didn't have anything, but the tumor was quite big. So it's kind of, but the so I did a little look at a few things, and sort of, I think in my head I was like, if any of these things are something that's raising a flag with me, I'll talk to my doctor about it. I I trusted first